Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, and feel free to comment down below what you would like me to do for future anime and cartoon-related videos. So today we're talking about Re:Zero Season 2, Episode 10, and let me tell you, I am intrigued and confused at the same time. This is definitely kind of one of those semi-setup episodes, I guess, is the best way to describe it for what's going to kind of play out the rest of the first part here of Season 2. So if you're not familiar, also, basically there's going to be a break. We're going to get 13 episodes right now. And then I believe, not fall anime, I believe in the winter of 2020, we are going to get to the second 13 episodes of Season 2. And I hate when they do that, but it is what it is. So that means we got 3 episodes left to kind of wrap everything up that's been going on up to this point. So in the beginning of this, Stelia, the Witch of Envy, basically Subaru wakes up again. She comes back again. He says, I love you, I love you, I love you, over and over and over again. It's super creepy. And he gets enmasked in her darkness. At this point, Otto is already dead, technically. Don't worry, he super resets and he comes back to life later on, so no need to worry about that if you are concerned with that. Basically, he can see memories of everybody she's absorbed, and that was very interesting. And he sees the memories of Ruziu, if I'm saying that correct. Basically, the little pink-haired elf-looking girl, and then we get to learn some facts about her as well through that. But he learned that Enchada actually gave him a weapon with the kind of bracelet on his arm, and he used it in order to kill himself because he thinks that she knew something bad was going to happen. And he ends up using it to kill himself. He basically says, I don't love you. She's like, love me, love me, love me, etc. It's very, very creepy. Very like, kind of somebody's after you and they won't leave you alone, but you don't really have a choice. Kind of creepy. And that is definitely something interesting to say right there and then of itself. But he takes her cloak off, and it looks strikingly like Amelia. And actually, when he sees Amelia, he's actually shaking because he thinks it's her, even though they are two separate people, to our knowledge anyway, because Amelia was in the sanctuary. So, two different people in the same place at the same time, so pretty confident Amelia is not the actual witch herself, which is a plus, because Amelia doesn't need to be the witch. We believe she passed Trial 1 finally, which is good. Looks like she wasn't shaken up at all, so most likely she has passed Trial 1 at this point in time. So let's get into kind of Ruziu, that whole situation, what's going on there. So there is more than one. There is a bunch, and they are a bunch of copies of somebody. We don't really know. Basically, Enchada and Echidna tried to make a vessel for herself so she could theoretically live forever, and it kind of worked, but not really. So basically, somehow they're constantly multiplying. Each have a different purpose, getting new knowledge, try to separate themselves from one another because technically they all have the same name. There was one in black, and then there was one in white that was holding on to Subaru, liked him a lot. But basically, because he passed the trial and drank some of Echidna's essence, he is able to control them, which is kind of an abysmal of greed, I think is what they call them. And what's interesting is Garfield also passed the first trial somehow because he has control over them as well. And Subaru was like, hey, make it a secret. He leaves a note to Amelia saying, I'm going back to the mansion. Don't mention it to people, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. And it's kind of interesting because we see this girl trapped in this crystal in a room, and basically somehow it creates life, but pretty much for the most part they are kind of empty shells. The original one is 400 years old, so that's definitely interesting. She's got a lot of knowledge that I'm hoping we get to see in the future, but we don't really get a whole lot of backstory on that other than he got some memories from her when he was inside the cloak of the Witch of Envy. And so that was kind of weird, but ultimately she was not able to hold Enchada, so it kind of worked, but not really, where they all kind of have the same memory, but Enchada cannot unfortunately inhabit them, so Enchada is still dead. And that is what it is, but her soul is attached to the sanctuary in a way, so Subaru will most likely see her again. if we get to see what happens after Trial 3, unless somehow Trial 3 was already completed in there somewhere. Not really sure exactly what's going on with that at the moment, too. So he ends up going back to the mansion. He's like, hey, you people need to leave. Get out of here. Bad shit is about to go down. And I thought that was kind of funny how he did that. And yeah, basically they leave. Frederica is like, yep, you know how to flirt with maids. So is Pietra. Pietra's like, you owe me a date now. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll be your first date, no problem. Kind of cutesy moment. And then we end the episode with him entering into Beatrice talking about a contract or something along those lines, saying that it ends with Subaru. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there with that whole contract situation. And it ends abruptly. There's like no preview, no end credits, no nothing. It's just like, okay, here's Subaru talking to Beatrice, and bada bing, bada boom, done, end of episode. We'll see what happens next week with that. My guess is he may or may not die again next episode. Who knows? Seems like Kenny dies in every single episode from South Park, if you're not familiar with that. And they're going to have a nice, beefy, long, juicy conversation that we've been looking forward to. Hopefully we get to learn whatever book that Beatrice is holding on to, what the heck it is, what it does, why there are copies of it out there that the witches have, and why does Roswell have a copy as well? That's definitely interesting to see what's going to happen there, unless Roswell is actually part of the witches cult, which we don't really know that either at this point in time. But my guess is there are two originals. Roswell has one, she has the other, and what are they? What do they do? Etc. That'll definitely be interesting to see that whole conversation play out. We also get to see Garfield go beast mode again, even though it is basically useless against the witch. And we saw how powerful he was when he was in his giant tiger form. Witch Envy just like, nah, get out of here. You're done. You're done. Let me love Subaru. And that was really weird. It did give us some perspective of the witch, though, with the whole I love you thing. Maybe she's actually suffering and has all the memories of the people that she's killed inside her. Not exactly sure how that's going on. But I think the reason she chose Subaru is both his parents love him, even though he's kind of a waste of space, as we saw in his previous life, and all these women love him now too, and she wants to love him and him to love her back is the gist of what we got out of the witch. We didn't really get to have a conversation with her or see what's going on with her, how powerful she really is. I mean, she's powerful. I mean, she got that dark cloak friggin' going over everybody, and it's like a permanent stance of nothingness. So it's like you're not dead, but you're not alive. It's almost like you're in purgatory is the best way to describe what is going on with that particular scenario. Garfield, let's get back to him too. Yet again, he stops Subaru, gets word somehow. Somebody tips him off somewhere along the way about him leaving the sanctuary, and he's like, you're pissing me off, I'm going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. And then Subaru says something to him. I'm not exactly sure what he says to Garfield. Your guess is as good as mine. But he basically knows how to read him, what is going to tick him off, what isn't. Basically, like he says, he's loyal to Amelia. I have no intention of hurting anybody. All my loyalties are to Amelia. And Garfield finally lets him go. And that's how he ends up seeing Frederica and Pietra back at the mansion there, but we don't know. We have no idea what he said. I'm assuming it's something along the lines of something to do with Ruziu, perhaps. I don't really know. But the biggest part was Garfield was like, you don't know suffering, you don't know pain. He was like, yes, I do. And you just see this serious look in his eyes, on his face, and Garfield's just like, oh, he's been through some shit. Let me tell you, this guy has felt some suffering, some pain. And he has multiple times. I don't know how many times he's died at this point. Somebody keep count of it and make a counter on every single video that I do. That would be kind of funny to watch that and see what plays out there. But that's basically all she wrote. So next episode, we are going to be talking to Beatrice, a lot of it. Miss D. Bowler lady is probably going to show up, might possibly kill Subaru. Subaru is expecting to die again. He's trying to gather some more information. He has a really, really good starting point. Basically said everything's, nobody's going to die in any of these scenarios. I finally got to myself to a point where everybody should be good to go. And it's just going to be him, Beatrice, and the Bowler at the mansion. And I'm wondering if he did something ahead of time to get somebody powerful to come to the mansion to deal with her, I could definitely see that happening. We still don't know who hired her or why, but maybe that'll play out in the next couple episodes too. We only got 3 episodes left. Technically, we have 16 episodes left, but because the season is getting split in 2, we have 3 episodes, and then we're getting a break, unfortunately, which sucks. But that is what it is. So my guess is it's going to have to kind of wrap up in these 3 episodes. It's because they're not going to leave. They're not going to leave you hanging. At least I hope they don't leave us hanging for like 3 months. That would be very, very bad and would annoy the crap out of a lot of fans. And we would probably all yell to get it sooner. And maybe we would, because you know how the fandoms are. You know, they changed Sonic the Hedgehog. We can get anime earlier too if enough people complain about it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But with all the stuff going on right now, it is what it is. Take what you can get, I guess, in retrospect, too. So, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Any other anime you want me to review, because I only got 3 weeks of the current 2 I'm reviewing, so I'm going to need something else. Something else to review, cartoon or anime, whatever you prefer. Let me know. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.